Hey y'all, this is the legendary Sonny G, Sonny with an O, not a U.
And this is your boy Sterling Moody.
And we are Effa Podcast.
Effa Podcast.
And thank you for listening to us. So make sure you tune in to Effa Podcast, a real N-word podcast where we talk about
real N-word stuff.
That's it. So make sure y'all tune in.
Effa Podcast.
Effa Podcast. Welcome to episode 3 of Effa Podcast.
Woo!
Effa Podcast, Effa Podcast. I am the legendary Sonny G, Sonny with an O, not a U. And then to my left is my player partner, the one and only, the better than gold, rose all the way, got all the hoes, Mr. Sterling Moody.
Yeah, what's up, man? It's Sterling,
I give you a much better introduction than I give myself. I just realized.
You do. Here, I'm going to introduce you real quick. My player from the Himalayas coming down from the east side of everywhere. My dog, the legendary, oh so spectacular. You going to see him float up into the sky one day and be like, wow, that man is a god. Sonny G.
Ooh.
There you go.
Hey, man, that felt good.
Hey, man, you got to look. If your friends can't gas you up, who else gonna gas you up? Your enemies and your haters not gonna gas you up. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes your confidence gotta come from your partners. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be days when you out here, down bad.
We need to do that more often.
Yeah.
Like as black men, we just need to have a day where you don't even have nothing really that you want to say. You just be like, hey man, I see you doing your thing.
Bro, you know what? It's because black men so scared to be gay because and I'm gonna tell you why. Black men don't want to be perceived as soft.
Right.
Because we gone our whole lives, from civil rights to, police brutality to your job. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to feel less than. And we think the soft is less than. So we equate feelings with soft. Yeah. So, we sit up there like, if I see somebody out there and I'm like, hey, like it's a way to say, something. Like if two girls see each other and they're like, oh, she's so fine, they'll just be like, oh, you so fine. If a nigga see another dude and he's like, hey man, like any type of compliment, somebody's gonna be like, oh man, I'll swing that way. Me, what I do is I be like, hey man, you know what? You get a lot of girls, don't you? I can tell, bro. I can tell you get a lot of girls. Like that's how you
gotta code it. You gotta code it a certain way. You gotta be like, all right, man, I see you out here dressing fly.
I'm trying to get like you.
Hey man, I know you got all of them. You know what I'm saying?
Tell everybody know the biggest black compliments are, I'm trying to get like you. Oh man, I know you got all of them.
Right.
Them the two is like, cause invitation is the best form of flattery. You know what I'm saying? Like if I say I'm trying to get like that means for real, like, hey bro, I'm trying to be what you are right now.
Or I see you. I see you out there.
Yeah. I see that.
I see you out here doing your thing.
I see you out here doing your thing. Bro, I've been watching. I've been like that's the bigger I see you.
Yeah.
Like I've been watching, and it's always, bro, I've been watching you. Like that's when somebody tell you like, hey, what you doing standing out, and I'm seeing it over and over. You know what I'm saying? Like if I see you, it's like I see you right now.
Now, what you said earlier, what you were saying with black men and our fear of being perceived as homosexual and gay, that kind of goes into something we're talking about today, which is toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Like is toxic masculinity actually a thing? Is that? Yeah. Because I have a theory on that. I feel like what's being called toxic masculinity now was just masculinity back when I was a kid. That's all it was. It was just masculinity. So like, did masculinity become toxic, or has it always been toxic, or what's like?
I think it's the platform that we have today, where back in the day somebody would say something and you would just kind of like, okay, cool. But because we have so many people looking at our actual thoughts and stuff through Facebook and Twitter and
everybody
like
judging.
Yeah, people are like, like if you put on a bigger show, you want a bigger response, and when you want a bigger response, you leave a bigger comment. That bigger comment turns to a bigger fight because we're all doing it for the clout. You know what I'm saying? So your masculinity is directly related to your clout right now.
I think the toxic masculinity thing is a fine line though, because you have you being a woman. I don't want a man that's toxic. Mm-hmm. in his masculinity, but I also don't want a bitch.
Yeah.
So there's a fine line between a man that's, really masculine,
a manly man,
and then a man that's weak. So there's a difference. I understand being in touch with your emotions and not being afraid to cry. Like, there's some things that are great about this whole movement, you know, men trying to, you know, be a little bit more sensitive, but I don't want you to be weak. Like, I don't want you to be a pushover. I need you to still be a man.
Stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think we don't get there, man. What do you think I'm asking both of y'all, and I'll go with Sonny first. What do you think one of the biggest situations in today's times where you would see someone, you know, use toxic masculinity in everyday life?
So I feel like, and it's crazy because you hear the old school guys. They're like, man, you can't even compliment a woman anymore. But it's also because, you know, what was accepted as a compliment once long ago isn't exactly. It was never a compliment. It was just, you know, so commonplace that women were just kind of just like, okay, that's cool. Like. But now that's the thing I hear most. Like, you can't even compliment a woman anymore, which is now turned into catcalls and harassment and all of these things. And it's like, where's the line on that? Like, is it even appropriate to tell a strange woman that, or do you have to know the woman first before you start complimenting? And like, I feel like that's what they think that the line is. You know?
It's so tough because, like, part of me, if I see something I like, part of me really wants to be like, I like that. And I know me as a person, if someone was to tell me that they like something, I would be real hype about it. But at the same time, dudes come off way different. Like, I'm a big dude, and I've had women come up to me and like, they'll fetishize me being big. Like, they'll be like, oh man, I just love big dude. I'm like, that's cool. They're like, no, I just love big guys. I'm like, okay, that's what's up.
I bet you warm.
Yeah, man. By the time you done heard it, like the fifth time, you're like, okay, no, this is your shit. Like, this is your thing. This is your this is what you are. You like big dudes. But dudes do that to women day one.
All the time.
I think what y'all have to realize is it's the specifics that is where it gets creepy. There's a totally different feel to a sentence in saying you look nice today, or you look nice, and saying you have a nice ass. Like, it's the specifics. Or like you said, I like big dudes, and I like big dudes. Like, there's a totally different emphasis. So don't be specific. Just, I
think another thing is down. Like, dudes. So the tone that we give off is like, we feel like you should be grateful that we're giving you this compliment. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, girl, you fine, you thick as it. Like you should come away from that being like, oh, I am fine and thick as hell. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, this is the 5th time I've heard this in the last hour, or, you know, isn't there anything else that you could possibly say about me? Like, we don't realize, you know, guys kind of come across as, you know, I said you fine now. Are you going to give me your number or not?
See, I think it depends on your community too, because right now we have the whole, you know, city girl movement, you know what I'm saying, where everybody's trying to act up and be ratchet. But they you know, basically what the city girls have done is they've taken the male stereotypes and switched them over into women. So it's like, you know, where it was a position of, you know, I have a penis, I have power. Women are like, okay, well, I have a vagina, I have power. You know what I'm saying? They're really pushing it. Like, I listen to a lot of rappers, and I listen to, you know, male and female, and there are a lot of rappers who used to be, you know, women used to be singing about how much sad they were, or they just like dance all night, or stuff like that. Nowadays, you have women who are like, I'm about a check, I'm about power, I'm about a position of power. I want my respect, and I will get it. I don't care if you're a dude or a girl. I'm equal. So equality has changed to where it's no longer a role of equality that everyone is comfortable with. So you have to sit down and decide, okay, well, do I want to see them as an equal or not? And so you have to sit down, and I think when we start seeing women as equal, we'll start seeing other men as equal as well. Because you sit down and you go, okay, well, if I'm doing this to get this girl, you only doing that to get the girl because that's what you think she's into. But you might see a dude. I remember I would see dudes downplay other guys, and that same dude that they were, you know, talking junk on went and got the girl that they were looking for.
Right.
Because he was just himself, and she was like, I like him because he's himself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He wasn't fake. I rather, like me as a dude, I'd rather the girl be 100 with herself. She could be nerdy. She could be weird. I don't care. I like them for them. You know what I'm saying? And as guys, we think girls don't want that. Girls want money. Girls want this. Think about it. Everybody knows dude that has no job, has no something. You know, he's lacking, and he's got a girl who loves him for him, not just like, oh man, they have an amazing sex.
Or stable. That's what gets me. Yeah. When he has a rotating stable of chicks, like bro, you live with your mom. But that, again, that's another thing. Honesty, because we all know a guy who is gonna go home at the end of the night with a chick, and he told her honestly, like, I live in my mom's basement, or, you know what I'm saying, I still stay with my baby mama or whatever. And then there's these dudes out here that's trying to like hold on to a lie just to get some, and it's like, you don't have to do that, bro. Dude, she was down regardless. You didn't have to do that,
dude. When I was out, when I was staying with my mom. Matter of fact, I'll give you a better one. When I was staying with my best friend Evan, and you knew me then, and I was living in his living room. I had just got into some big trouble in one city, and I moved to another city. And I was like, okay, well, I'm back in Atlanta. You know, I was only gone for 6 months, and a lot changed. And I didn't have the same job I had anymore. And I was hustling. I was trying to, do more stand up. I was really trying to just get my mind off of what I was going through. And I had a lot of money saved up, and he had money saved up. So for one summer, we just kind of were ourselves. We lived a whole bachelor lifestyle, and we would bring girls back to the apartment, and it's a 1-bedroom.
I remember, because you were sleeping in the living room.
In the living room, yeah. And so he would have a girl in his room, I'd have a girl in the living room, and we were just like, okay, well, this is how the night's going. You know, like it was as long as it was cool. You know, everybody was kind of like okay with each other. But I think in a situation of toxic masculinity, another dude might hear that. And then he'll try to downplay, oh, this guy lives with his friend, so he doesn't have this. And then another guy will be like, oh, yeah, man, he like, you ain't even a man. You don't have your own place. And I'm sitting up here thinking like, well, everybody goes through something sometime. And this chick might not care because she might, how many girls live with their friend? You know what I'm saying? How many people do you know?
People are in all kind of situations. That's the thing people don't understand. People are always trying to like make their situation look better, not realizing other people are in situations too,
and they don't care. Like most people don't care about what you have going on. Nobody cares what.
That's not always true. Some people are in bad situations and still judge you for being in a bad situation.
But see, it's like this: if I'm in a bad situation and you're in a bad situation and you judge me for me being in a bad situation, I'm going to do one or two things. I'm going to either realize that you trying to deflect and whatever you dealing with is way worse than what I'm dealing with because you can't handle it. Like, stuff is only as bad as you can handle. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at people with addiction, like there's addiction.
Hold on. Before you go off into that. So real quick, sticking on the toxic masculinity. Because a lot of it, I feel like, I think people want to know where the line is between toxic masculinity and hyper masculinity.
Okay.
Like, is all hyper masculinity toxic masculinity? Because like we're in the era of the Fast and the Furious movies where they're not even trying to be real movies anymore. They're now action flicks with car. Like the cars don't even Idris Elba said in the trailer for the Hobbs and the one with The Rock and Jason Statham, he said, I'm Black Superman. And that's really how these movies are going. They're now basically superhero flicks with the Fast and the Furious cast. And is like, are these movies contributing to toxic masculinity culture? And I think that was more of a question before they got more women involved in the franchise, because I think they're going to do an all-female Fast and the Furious type thing as well. But like, are we, the Expendables, Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, are we gonna see like a decline of those, because that's hyper masculinity? But those are all of the guy gets the girl and the guy.
I think we can redo what we assume is acceptable when we look at ourselves. So like you have, like you hear online, the incel community, which is the involuntary
celibate.
Yeah. So it's like, you can't get a girl. Lames. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know why they found a new way to call people lames.
Just lame. Like for real, just lame. Like
involuntarily celibate. That's you're just lame.
Lame. That's it. And you hate, and like, so you have these guys who literally sit down and hate, and because Like there, everyone it's easy to be a keyboard killer. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're behind a computer screen. Like when we go out and we on stages, what I say on the stage, what you say on stage, I know I gotta back up.
Yeah.
So a lot of
times you
can
see me in the parking lot after I get off stage.
Yeah. Like it's been times when I when I first got in stand up, I didn't realize it, but I've always been the same person. Like what I say online, I'm gonna say to you in your face because I assume you gonna see me. And like I'm not gonna win every fight, but I'm gonna fight. And that's the way I look at it. So when I started doing stand up, the same person that I was on stage, I'm on Facebook. So I would get into arguments with people and wholeheartedly be like, well, I'm meeting you at this time and we fighting. And you were the person that said, Facebook ain't real, man. Like you gotta remember that. Like Facebook is not real. And I was like, okay. And it took me a while, but a lot of these guys don't see it as real. Like it's to the point where, like somebody will talk junk to you or they'll say whatever they want and they think nobody knows where I live.
That's why you have all these kids out here filming these videos for Instagram and stuff, jumping, breaking the law and then shocked when they get arrested for it. Because it's like, I was just filming a video that the connection isn't being made that it's for Instagram, but it's real life. Like your actions have consequences.
People are going to identify you. They're going to identify the street you're on or what the business that you're in or something. And it's going to connect. And you're like, oh, I didn't think anybody know. They're going to figure that out.
Like, it's more like instead of it being just toxic masculinity, we might have a bigger problem with toxic entertainment because entertainment is not TV. Entertainment is not, like the news.
Right.
Entertainment is what people are using now. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, a post. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody knows somebody sat down and looked at a thread of some people arguing and it's 400 comments and you've read every single comment. You know what I'm saying? Or you go to a YouTube video just because people are arguing in the comments and you read the comments. Comments are more than the actual
you don't even know what the actual topic or the actual subject is
exactly
because you've wanted to just see the comments.
Exactly.
I've had to, I have an addiction with following and unfollowing news sites for that reason. Like I'll follow a news site and then I'll immediately go to the comments when I know like, oh, this is going to be racist. The racists are going to come out, and I'll read the comments and then I'll get so mad and then I'll start arguing with somebody and that'll take up my whole day. And then at the end of it, I'll be like, I just spent the whole day arguing with a complete stranger
arguing with a stranger.
Not only that, but they, like you said, people don't take the internet is real, so they're not really trying to debate me. They're not really trying to learn a lesson from what I'm telling them. They just want to make me mad back.
Yeah,
it's just outrage culture.
Yeah, they just want to make me mad, and I've wasted a whole day trying to change their opinion or what have not, and
they might not even ascribe to that opinion. It just sounded good. It was funny. It got them likes.
And I think that's the biggest thing where it's gone from with even the way masculinity has changed. Because back when I was younger, my uncle used to tell me like men think in logic, women think in emotion, and that's not true.
All the way true. No,
you know what I'm saying? Because everyone thinks in emotion and everyone thinks in logic. We just have been raised where men are supposed to feel something and women are supposed to be right, and that's not necessarily true in any
at
form.
All.
Because you know how many times when you sit down and think like, okay, the whole reason this is going smooth is because we got this woman helping us out, or how many times when you go, oh man, like the emotion wasn't there until this dude gave a reference. The roles that were placed upon us hundreds of years ago as gender roles are dumb. Like it's not something you can sit down and when we try to continue to uphold these rules, we get toxic masculinity, we get toxic femininity, because you have people who want to break out and say something different and don't realize they're saying the same thing.
It's crazy. So there's this guy I used to work with, and anytime the word toxic masculinity comes up, he's the one that I think of, because he was just, everything he said was woman bashing.
Yeah.
Everything that came out of his mouth was woman bashing. But I remember one day, because he was one of those guys that he would start an argument with a woman and then grab the nearest guy, hoping, or not even hoping, but assuming that you were on his side because you were another guy. And he's like, hey, Sonny, if Homo superior, like having powers, was a trait exclusive to one gender or another, what trait or what gender would you say is Homo superior, male or female? And I was like, female. And he was like, why? I was like, because if you go on YouTube right now and you type in woman lifts car to save baby, you'll get like 10 videos of that. If you type in man lifts car to save baby, there might be 2, if that, and one of them was probably a promo for a soft drink. So
like women don't get scared.
But hold on, so when I said that, he immediately he's like, oh, you one of them fuck boys that automatically think that women are the queen or the salt of the earth. And I'm like, I am, but that's not my basis for this is in logic. Like, this is not even my personal, I just, women are God speech. It's logically. See,
me, I'm like, so a while ago, I'm from Augusta, and Augusta's real small. And when I was younger, I didn't know about gay people at all. You know what I'm saying? I thought gay people were going to be rapists, like for real. I thought, okay, if you're a gay man, you're going to rape me,
right?
Because that's what I was taught. Right. But I was taught that by people that went to jail, people that had seen perversive gay men. That I didn't know that there was a standard gay man, like
people
there was a standard human.
Gay acts, but not gay culture.
Exactly. And so when I got to Atlanta, and Atlanta has a huge homosexual population. So when I got to Atlanta, I realized oh man, one of my best friends was gay. You know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, dog. You know what I'm saying? And it was what it was. I was like, all right, man. We don't hang out as much anymore because life has gotten in the way, and they moved. Right. They moved. But, while we were here, I was like, I ain't everybody was like, oh man, you gonna stay at his house? I'm like, well, we're not sleeping in the same bed, bro. Like he got a bed, I got a couch. We got other people coming over. You know what I'm saying? Like, we having a party. I'm not about to get drunk and drive home drunk. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather just stay here. I'm not worried about getting raped. Male on male rape is probably, way less than male on female rape. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a percentage. You know what I'm saying? Because unless you're in jail,
all gay guys don't want all guys.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't. When I walk up the street, I see women that I'm like, I like that. I see women that are like, I want to sleep with that. I see women like, oh, she's cute. I see women I'm like, I don't like that.
Nah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So why would I think I would be every dude's type? I'm sure I'm some dude's type. I done had a dude call me cute. The way I took it was like, oh, well, that's what's up. Because I mean, somebody think I look good, but thank you, but I'm that's not me. I'm flattered, but that's just not my thing.
I don't even put that much. So when I first got here, I remember I was with a gang of comedians, and this guy called me cute, and everybody was just looking at me like, "What's your response going to be?" And I was like, I'm gonna take it as a compliment, because first off, it's not that many women going around calling me. I don't get called cute on a daily basis. We look at women and how they get catcalled, and we think to ourselves I would like that. I would like women that just walk down the street and be like, "You fine." That doesn't happen. So I'm gonna take it from hey, that's not my cup of tea, but I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
Like I feel like this. I know I'm not homosexual. Not even it's something wrong with it. I just know that's not my thing, and it's not like. I feel like people have to be you on both sides. You have the homosexual community well, how do you know you're not gay? And I'm like, well, I looked at a dude just right there and was like, I don't want to sleep with him. You know what I'm saying? It was that simple. You know what I'm saying? I looked at a girl and was like, oh, I feel something. You know what I'm saying? That same thing happens.
That easy.
You like what you like. That's it.
And it happens with women all the time. I see women who ride a more fluid line. And they're kind of like, well, I like what I like.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. When it comes to women, my whole thing was I like who likes me. That was my thing, because I feel like nobody would be better for me than somebody who likes me. Somebody that I would have to convince to like me. Why would I want to put that effort in? Everybody's like the whole love at first sight thing. That's not real. But I think infatuation at first sight is real, and that's what people run with.
Now, let me ask you something, because on the opposite side of how we're equating toxic masculinity and thoughts on homosexuality, so a lot of guys get flack for somebody being like, would you sleep with them, and them being like, no, I wouldn't sleep with them. Oh, you must be homophobic.
Man.
I that's one thing that's like, immediately, oh my God, that you're a toxic male. It's like, is that the line that like we were talking about earlier? Like, what is that line that stops people from just putting labels on you?
Well, it's like this. Okay, if a dude asked me if I would sleep with another dude, I would say no. And then they would say, why not? And I'd be like, I don't have a reference point to even think that I would want that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, that wouldn't be, like, I wouldn't be being homophobic by not wanting to sleep with somebody, because I don't want to sleep with every woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be with what you want to be with. So on one hand, you might have toxic homosexuality, where they're like, okay, well, you either like,
don't be get some comments. But
hey man, they gonna have to hear it. They gonna have to hear it because it's true. Like, you either gonna have people that are or aren't everything. So you either are homosexual or you aren't homosexual. You can be a mixture of both, but you are or aren't something. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I can't make you be either thing. You know what I'm saying? I am proud of you for being whatever you are, because I feel like you need to love yourself and you need to do what makes you happy. My mom's friend, who he's a poultry nutritionist. He's a scientist. He gave me some advice. He lives in Abu Dhabi, and he's loaded. And he gave me some advice. He said, you need to do what makes you happy because everyone else is. And that made a lot of sense to me. So as long as I'm not stealing your happiness, which people do with toxic masculinity, which people do with toxic femininity,
just being toxic
period.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, why would I stop you from having a good time? Like, as long as you're not hurting me, why would I stop you from having a good time? Like, be yourself, have fun.
I'm glad you said that, because one story I wanted to share before we ended this is I've noticed a lot people. So we both smoke weed, and people who refuse to hit blunts off of somebody else because they're gay. Well, hold on. So here's what I came to the conclusion on that. That's super stupid, especially when guys do it because they're like, oh well, he's gay, and I don't want dicks on my blunt. He probably been sucking, and I don't want dicks on my. Here's the thing, right? You'll hit a blunt after a woman, right? And you could know that she done sucked every dick at the party, and you'll hit it after her, but you won't hit it after a dude because you suspect he might.
Man,
hold on. So what that tells me is that you don't mind dick transferring from the blunt to your lips as long as it transfers from a female's lips to the blunt to your lips. You don't mind getting dick lips as long as it comes from a female.
I'm gonna tell you what was even wilder. Guys that are super toxic when it comes to masculinity always do stuff like, oh, you washing your hands after you pee. You're a bitch. Like, you a man, you don't have to wash your hands after you pee. Them same dudes just rolling that blunt. You directly touching his dick to his lips when he, you know what I'm saying? But see, that's the thing. If that's the case, you should be like, oh well, I only have women roll my blunts, but then women might have touched the dick, so now you're touching the dick. Either way, if you sitting up here thinking about a dick in your mouth, you may be gay. So why, just don't think about it.
You know the most toxic habit I think I have when it comes to people I smoke weed with is watching the person roll the blunt and seeing how many times they lick it. If you have to lick the blunt more than 5 times, I'm like, you know what? You've made the blunt gay now. You've made the blunt as many times as
I don't want to kiss you now. That's the truth.
When I Frenched the blunt, and I don't want to French you hitting the blunt.
Like that, when I smoke, a lot of times people are like, man, you cook your blunt too long. I'm like, I want to make sure it is dry before I hand it to the next person, because I've had people hit the blunt and they they're talking and the cherry is down and the mouth part is up and they keep talking, hitting and talking, and spit is going into the blunt, and I get the blunt back and I hit it and it's wet and I'm like, I don't want to hit this no more.
Yeah.
Now I gotta cook the blunt again to just be cool because I
just
need my
dry off.
Yeah. But the whole time I'm sitting up here smoking, I'm like, I'm smoking this spit. I'm smoking this spit. This some gas spit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's spit.
Hey, we're about to get out of here. Thank y'all for tuning in once again to Effa Podcast.
Effa Podcast.
I am the legendary Sonny G, and this is my player partner, Mr.
Sterling Moody.
And they can catch you where?
You can find me on Instagram at Sterling Moody. You know, we always got stuff going on. We got a new project coming out called The Club, working title. You know, you're going to like it. It's about a strip club. And, you know, have you ever seen The Office? It's basically that in the strip club. You're going to love it.
Also, make sure y'all go on YouTube, Trap Nerd ENT. Subscribe, follow. We've got sketches and everything coming out. Make sure y'all subscribe to this show. And we have a Patreon and everything coming up. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the listeners. We appreciate anything we get. I am at Trap Nerd Sonny on all social media and comedian Sonny G at ymail.com. Thank y'all for listening. We out. Be cool like how y'all be cool.
Yes.
This is the legendary Sonny G, and thank you for tuning in to Effa Podcast. You can also go ahead and follow us at Trap Nerd ENT on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can also go to our Patreon if you enjoy what we do and make a donation, patreon.com/TrapNerdENT, and be on the lookout for future events. Sign up for our email list at trapnerdent@gmail.com. Again, thank you for listening. Y'all be cool like how y'all be cool.